guys.
What stands out about Goff? And you know, you guys obviously, he's a guy you've played almost every year.
Yeah.
And what stands out about him in a new system with the new teammates?
Yeah, I think they're doing a good job with him. I think he's patient in the pocket. He's taking the throws they give him. He kind of knows where their playmakers are and is able to target them. And then, his completion percentage, his accuracy shows up in those situations. So he's doing a good job.
You guys traditionally have had really good success against him. Does that translate when a guy changes teams, in your experience?
The success doesn't translate. This is a week-to-week business, and we gotta uphold our end of the deal this week, and we got a good challenge ahead of us, because they've got some good skill, and the quarterback's playing at a high level, the running backs are playing at a high level, the tight end's really good, so we got to make sure we take care of our business first.
How much different is it facing this Lions team than the past couple of years, given like DeAndre Swift and they seem to have more of a running game and use him more often?
Yeah, I think you hit it right on the head. I think they like their O-line that they've built there, and those guys are really physical and aggressive up front. And the running back, both the running backs are playing really good, and DeAndre's playing really well right now, also as a runner and a pass threat out of the backfield. And he makes guys miss in space. So I think they're doing a good job, and they're playing to their strengths really well, and that's what's keeping them in games. And they're really close, and we're gonna have our hands full with those guys.
Sean, with Eddie Goldman out, what has Tonga been able to give you guys?
Obviously a big, thick presence down the middle of the defense, and he's been getting better each week. And that's a good thing because, as a rookie, you just never know how quickly those guys will develop, and he's taken it on, and he's embraced all the coaching that we're giving him. Coach Rump's doing a good job with him, and I think he's going to continue to get better.
It's a seventh-round pick. I mean, what about him, I guess, has allowed him to not only contribute, but it seemed like he played pretty well, too, the other day?
Yeah, no, he's doing a good job, and regardless of the round and the pick you are, I mean, we're coaching the player just like we coach everybody else. So, he's being coached hard. He's taking the coaching, and he's real humble and hungry to get better. He's like a sponge. He's just trying to get feedback from everybody on what he can do, how he can improve, and then he's getting adjusted to the speed of the game. And that's a real thing for a lot of rookies when they play, especially when it's down there in the trenches. Things happen a lot faster for him, and so he's improving. You saw that this last week.
With Tonga, he
Does
took.
his age help? Does his age help at all?
Yeah, I mean, he's a mature guy. That's right. Yeah, that's right. He's a mature individual, and maybe that comes with age or personality, right? So either one, but no, he's a mature person, and he likes to get coached hard.
Jalen Johnson was saying that he's happy with the way the defense has played the last two games, but kind of lamented the fact that it's given up late scores in the last two games. What is that a product of?
It's a product of a lot of things, and the first thing it's a product of is me. Got to be better in the fourth quarter. I got to be better putting these guys in positions to make the plays they need to make in the fourth quarter. And so I'll get better there, and then they'll improve with their techniques and fundamentals, and we'll keep straining to get better in that fourth quarter because this league comes down to the fourth quarter.
With Tonga, it looked like he took a tough roughing the passer penalty last week where he just lands on the quarterback. Is that something where you say, hey, is there anything you can do different, or is that just a tough penalty because I don't know, what do you expect Tonga to do there, I guess?
Yeah, no, and we try to teach the guys that they got to fall on the side. That's the way this league is. That falling straight on a quarterback while you're sacking them is going to get called. And so that's a coaching point that we emphasize, and that was his first time. That's his first sack in this league, and he got a good rush, and we just got to try to tell him to fall to the side as he's wrapping him up. And, the gray there is you can't let go of the guy, and fall to the side. So that's a constant coaching point that we'll continue to emphasize with those guys, and it comes with more experience, knowing in that situation what he's got to do.
Sean, were you relieved that Khalil was able to go back in and finish the game on Sunday? And even when he's not 100%, how can he impact things out there?
Yeah, I think he impacts the game anyways, any time he's on the field. I wouldn't say relieved is the right word. I was really more proud of him. It shows his grittiness and his toughness and what his teammates and what this defense means to him, and that's a credit to him. He's a tough player, and he really cares about being out there with his team in a game like that. And so that's a full credit to him, and I'm proud of him for being able to do that.
You think their lack of rest or stamina has sort of led to those late game touchdowns that you all have given
What
up?
was the first part of it, lack?
A lack of rest on defense or lack of stamina has been a reason that you all have given up lately?
You know, I don't think so. I think it's like I said, I got to do a better job putting the guys in position to make plays, and then we got to make plays. You know, our mentality is we'll play, like I told you guys, whatever it was a couple weeks ago, just put the ball down and we're going to play ball, and that's our mentality. And we got to do a better job in terms of the rest, in terms of getting some 3-and-outs, you know, getting off the field earlier. You know, I think that's a function of something I got to do a better job of, is getting these guys in the right position to go make some plays on third down earlier in the game, and that's the residual effect. But I don't think it's a matter of any of that stuff. I think it's just a matter of me calling the game better and those guys executing.
When an offense is struggling, like yours is, and I'm not asking you to speak for that side of the ball, but can defensive players feel pressure like, hey, we can only give up 13 this week, that type of thing?
Only if you guys put it out there for them like that. Not from our perspective. You know, our standard is our standard, and we got to play that to our standard. You know, obviously, every defense in this league wants to hold everybody shutouts, and we don't like when people score on us. So regardless of that, we got to control what we can control, and that's how we play and how we perform for all 60 plus, and sometimes if it's overtime, plus minutes in a game. And that's what we preach, and that's what we believe in.
What are your thoughts on Danny coming back yesterday, and how big of a boost will it be when you get him into games again?
Yeah, it was great to obviously have him back on the field. You know, his energy is contagious. He's a leader of this, one of the leaders of this defense has been for quite some time. So now it's just a matter of getting him ramped up and getting him in football playing shape, and he's done a good job working on the side, doing all that stuff, getting his body ready. So it's always fun to have a guy that's back that has some stripes on the wall.
You have to do a double take when you see number 6 out there now?
I did. I called him 59 a couple times.
Is there still a role for Tree once he does come back?
Yeah, I'm not sure if that question has the assumption that one guy's starting over the other. So, you know, we're going to evaluate all of our positions just like we do every week. And, you know, we try to put the best combination of guys and keep the freshest guys on the field for as long as we can. So that, you know, that'll be a decision when we're ready to make it. We'll make it as a staff.
With Robert Quinn, what stands out to you maybe as what he's doing, if he's doing anything different this year, or why he's having so much success early?
Yeah, I think I'm not sure if it's different. I think he's in a good mindset. I think he's, and this is all the stuff that he's been continuing to do. You know, he's a consummate veteran. You know, he's told you guys he wasn't happy with where he was last year, and so he's improving it. You know, and that's a credit to him. You know, he's not complacent, and he's never been complacent. You know, he practices hard. He takes hard coaching. Coach Shuey's done a tremendous job of communicating with him and giving him the points that we want to give him, that we felt like as a defense we needed him to improve on, and he's taken those. And you see the results on the field.
No coach wants to pit an offense against a defense, but human nature being what it is, you can't help but realize what the situation is. So I guess my question is, do you have to repress those feelings among your players or yourself that, you know, that we're wearing down because we're just on the field too long, or you actually just conditioned yourself to think that it's all on us no matter what the situation?
I don't think it's either of that, quite frankly, and human nature is a little bit different from football players to fans. These guys understand what their jobs and their roles are, and our job on defense is get the ball back for the offense and stop scores. It's very simply put. And so I don't think, you know, like I said, I think the media and fans have a different feeling towards all that stuff, and that's okay. That's their right to have those feelings. But when these guys are in the grind every day and they're going through it, they understand what it is, and we know our standard on defense and what that is. And like I've told you, you know, we're going to try to uphold that standard for as long as we can.
Did you see it differently when you weren't a coach, like when you were growing up and you saw situations like that?
Probably more as a fan, yeah. That's right. Probably more as a fan. No, I mean, I understand where the question is and the feelings, but it's like my brother asking me something. You know, he can ask as a fantasy football fan and all that stuff, but the fact of the matter is, when we're here coaching and when we're playing, the players are wired differently too. You know, and so they know that we got to control what we can control, and we got to get better at what we need to get better at. And there's a lot of room for improvement for us on defense.
What went into the decision to have Jalen travel with OBJ?
Not going into scheme stuff, but you know, that's part of our jobs as coaches to plan and find matchups and put our guys in position that we think are important for us as a defense to help us. And so that was part of that discussion. And we have those ongoing discussions, not just with him, with everybody at all levels of our defense.
with regard to him, I guess, the back shoulder throw seems to be really difficult for almost, no matter how good of a cornerback you are. How does a cornerback identify or anticipate or respond to a back shoulder throw? Is there a key? Is there anything you can teach that gets?
Yeah, no, we drill it, and you're absolutely right. It's a very hard throw to make, it's a very hard throw to catch, and it's a very hard throw to defend. And so there's 3 layers of that got to go right for everybody, depending on what side of the ball you're at. And so, yeah, there are some keys and things like that, in terms of where we want his body position and where he want his eyes. And sometimes some receivers, more than others, will give that throw away with where their eyes look as the ball's coming, because the trajectory of the ball has to be different, as opposed to a go ball and a back shoulder ball. So all those little details are things that we'll harp on and we'll continue to get improve on. Those are 50-50 balls. We got to win our share of those 50-50.
Is that like anything else, an experience thing, or is that just one of those things that doesn't really matter whether you're experienced or not? It's just.
No, I think everything is improves with experience. I think that's a common thing in football, right? Or in anything in life. I mean, the more reps you get at it, the more practice you get at it, the better you are at it. I become a better parent with my 3rd daughter than probably with my first 2, because I got more experience with it. And so I think experience always helps, and then part of building that experience is through practice, and us drilling it, and then, like you said, some of it is good players making good plays in this league, which is okay.
I feel like it would be deductively sound to say that the less rest the human body gets, the more winded they get. So how do you prepare for that? How do you tell your players to push through when they're just legitimately tired?
Quite simply, because like I said, we're preparing for a 60-plus minute game, and that won't change. And you guys look at the clock. You're guaranteed 60 minutes in a game, and we're prepared for that, and that's what our mentality is going to be. So our conditioning, everything that we've worked on through the offseason, everything we preach these guys is to be ready to play 60 minutes of football. And that's how you prepare for that. Thanks.
So Bill, without, reliving too much, just, and not getting any specifics, just how difficult is it as a unit, as a coach, to be part of something, quite frankly, historically bad on Sunday, and then find the way to get up off the ground and go forward?
Well, it hasn't always been that historically bad, but we've had bad before, here and elsewhere, and Tuesdays are really really tough days sometimes, but it's part of what we do, and so as a coach, how do you stand up there and point out the error, even when you win? I mean, it's easier when you win and you can point out the error, say, hey, we did this, but thank goodness we won, we had enough. But then the days you lose, it's harder, and we're all pros, and the players have to be professional about it too, and that's what you rely on, is that over time you've built a relationship with them, that they expect you to be honest and professional with it. And the relationships you've built over time allow you to have those tough conversations. They were tough conversations on Tuesday. I think the players had all seen the film. So I think one of the most important things we addressed was practice. In other words, okay, we all know what happened, what the results were, and let's be a little bit old school about it. How do we fix it? so it doesn't happen again going forward. And we talked real specifically about how we practice, making sure we're doing things the right way, holding each other accountable. And I do think, and maybe it is old school, that's the number one way you affect how you play on Sunday is how you practice. I mean, you have meetings, you have walkthroughs, you have all those things, but, so we tried to look forward positively, but we didn't ignore the errors.
So how much time do you,
Available in the midway. Oh, Matt.
how- Bill, how much time do you, yeah, how much time do you,
Let's just pause this, Bill, we'll come back.
Thanks.
how much time or, I don't know, percentage-wise, whatever you want to do you spend focusing on the player's mental aspect, the reaction, the attitude? You know, the physical is obvious, we got to fix this, this, and this, but how much time do you spend on the mental part?
Some of it literally starts in the locker room after the game, and so some of it is evaluation of where we are. Obviously, a lot of the guys do come in on Monday, whether it be for treatment or to get extra work, and so you see them, and they come and talk to you. Position coaches tend to have conversations with their guys. So a lot of it depends on the evaluation, how strong your team is. Each guy's probably a little bit different, but I would say when you stand up in front of the unit on Tuesday after a bad performance, that's a big part of what you're thinking about. I mean, they're with you on the specifics, the scheme, whether it be us saying, hey, we made a bad decision as a coaching staff of doing whatever we had planned, or whether it be, hey, we did a bad decision as an offensive unit all being on the same page, or whether we just didn't perform in this area. Because usually there's some of each, right? In most games, even when you win. So that part, they got you. There isn't usually a whole lot of disagreement. But the where are we now? How do we go forward? Who's going to help handle this? You know, how do we make sure this doesn't happen again, and be who we want to be? And you like to just say, hey, let's get this over with. Let's flush it. Everyone would like to get it over with, learn from it, and move forward. That's those of us who have children, right? We all know that's easier said than done. And we're adults, and as coaches, we still sometimes have to do the same thing to ourselves. Maybe the players do it faster than we do as coaches.
You mentioned practice. Is that something that has needed tightening up?
Oh, there are days when it has. I think we just tried to be real specific and not general. Like general would say, yeah, we have to be a better practice team. Well, everyone can say that. So we tried to be specific. Okay, last week in practice, some of these things happened. How did it translate to the game? And so just make a connection for the players and the coaches, for everyone. Because some of it, too, is one of the hardest jobs in an NFL team is to get the team that's given you a look on defense to give you the look that you're going to see on Sunday. We do our best to pick what we think is going to happen. They can choose to call whatever defense they want. But, hey, their safety doesn't quite play it like ours. So we need you on this play to lean this way, or double A Rob, or do whatever, and getting guys to do it. So part of it, we took that also responsibility on ourselves as coaches about, okay, on practice, this is what happened last week. Did it or did it not translate right into the game? And I think the players expect you also to put responsibility on them. We call this play in practice. This was the front you got. We expected, because you saw it and you were prepared for it, that you would get it done. So I think they appreciate when you share responsibility, because that's the truth, and as coaches you take pride in it. But to answer your question, I didn't think of it as a general statement, because everywhere can say you should prepare better. We try to do more specifics, and then hopefully everyone sees that and then go forward concretely, put emphasis on each play, and do better going forward.
Was there something early in the game where you guys saw like, hey, geez, the game plan we put together here is going to have a hard time working against what they were throwing at you?
Oh, I think I didn't feel like we were ill-prepared as far as the amount of stuff, because usually you have enough in that, hey, they decided to play more one-high defense, or more press man, or more two. You usually have enough in, unless they do something totally out of this world. You have enough in to react. I think we've done a decent job with that. So I guess we didn't think of it that way. When you're not doing well, and I've been a little bit in coach's shoes before. Sometimes, as a whole staff, you start searching, right? But I'd like to think that our answers are on there, but we'll take we'll take the blame as coaches. It's easy right here to sit here and say it, but I'll say it anyway. When you have those kind of protection issues, I mean, if I could go back a week, and I can't, but if I could, I'd help have a different protection plan. We had some things in there, some of it just didn't work the way we thought it would, but we thought it was a good answer, and it just didn't work. Some of it, obviously, we have mechanisms to help in protection more, whether it be to throw the ball faster, to move the pocket more, to help on the edges, to turn the line and help with more guys, to use tight ends more in protection. All the different answers that we have, and they're all in the offense. It's easy to say I would go back and do things differently because of what the results are. And so let's learn from it and not have it happen again. And I do think also evaluate ourselves as coaches as it was going. Obviously, when you get to a certain point of the game, you're in a 2-minute mode. But as it was going, could we have reacted better and moved to some of those things differently? Again, today I'd say yes.
So Bill, what would you, given that, what would you say are the biggest pass protection issues that need to be fixed? Is it just X's and O's, or what?
No, I think the guys would be real honest. I'm not going to say any names and blame any players because I think it's obvious if someone got beat,
Right.
he's going to look at it. He's going to look at his set. Did I have help inside? Did I not have help inside? Did I set appropriately? Was this a play action? I should have been firmer. Was I too firm? Did I see how the defender was aligned and anticipate that the movement might have happened? So that's part of it. And I don't feel any differently about our players. What happened, happened. And so you deal with the specifics, move forward. You know, the biggest thing when you talk to the offensive coordinator is the big picture. Okay, did I help have enough answers in there? So when you're asking me the question, my mind goes to the answers because that's my job.
I guess my question is, was this something that other teams could, now they had two really good pass rushers, obviously, Clowney and Garrett, but was this
Some other guys that rushed pretty good too. But yeah.
Was this something that other teams can look at the way you did or did not protect and say, hey, this is how we can attack the Bears?
I think so.
An issue that you have to deal with.
I think the players specifically have to look at what hurt them individually and assume that the teams you're playing study you, just like we study rushers and what are their moves and how they do it. So specifically, the players have to take a look in the mirror. Okay, this is what I put on film, so be ready. And then as an offense, we have to make sure, okay, this is what they're going to see. Usually, even if you solve the problem the next week, it's going to last a couple weeks. Excuse me, because people are going to be watching that film for a couple weeks. People are going to, just like we do, right at the beginning of the week, I get the stats, and it says, okay, we're playing the Lions. This is the stats from week 1. This is from week 2, week 3. So you see what happened in every game. Say, oh, wow, that somebody ran the ball for this yards per rush against them. Let's really study how they did it and see if that applies to us. They're going to do the same thing with our pass protection. So that's going to, the last game of the season, people might still look at that number of sacks and go back. So we better solve it. And again, my focus obviously is on the scheme part of it. Do we have enough tools and answers for our guys? And when you have that many, it's I know I'm not trying to give like a canned answer, but it is pretty shared. Like scheme, throwing the ball on time, technique. Do we have more answers and different things we could do? I mean, it's hard to have that many pass protection issues and not honestly say it was shared.
You and Nagy talked about.
How fair of an assessment can you make of Justin's game?
Oh, fair is, okay, this is how I played. So it's honest, it's real. Now, do you ever hope to be to get in exactly that same situation again? Hopefully not, ever in his career, but, it happened. And so you just say, okay, faced with these adversities, here's how I reacted. When you tally that many sacks on the game sheet, do all quarterbacks get affected by that? Absolutely. So we know that. So is it fair? That's not fair, right? That was his first regular season NFL start. Sometimes there's good, sometimes they're bad, but if you learn from it, then it's not bad. It feels bad. It feels bad, but if you just take that attitude, learn from it, and it's not bad.
Bill, in your experience, when a young guy gets hit like that as often as he got hit, can that travel with him from week to week?
I don't think it's going to travel with this. This is a tough, you were talking about a tough guy. I think hopefully, you guys saw that one shot he took, what game was that in the preseason?
Buffalo.
Yeah, this is a tough guy, physically and mentally, so I'm not concerned.
What's
Good
the-
question.
Bill, what did you learn about Justin, both in that moment and then how he has responded this week that maybe you didn't know before that?
I loved how he practiced yesterday, and so what is the ultimate big picture answer to your question? Like, what comes from that? I don't know, but I love what I saw yesterday. To me, that was positive evidence that even though we had bad, he's going to turn it to good by learning from it. I thought he came out and really had a great practice yesterday.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, Bill.
Thank you, Bill.
Bill Mack in the hallway.
She had a cat session.
Our way, if you have any.
How did that game for your punter compare to previous ones? It seemed like it was one of his best out of the
I think it's his second highest gross he's had in his career. I thought he punted really well. I mean, it was kind of one of those games where you had to try to flip the field position. You're going to give up some return yards when you do that, but you kind of have to weigh that, and I thought he punted well.
In addition to the elite coaching, what do you think is responsible for the way he's performing so far this year?
Come on, Larry. Come on.
That's a good question.
I've had better, Larry.
Why is he doing so well? Let me ask you.
No, I think he is punting well. I mean, he's a guy that's worked on his craft for a lot of years, and I just think he's getting better and better each week, and he's playing with good confidence, and you know, especially early on in the year, if you have to flip the field and the ball's going to fly, he has a big time leg.
So, but clearly there's a strategic decision there because, we talk about situational punting, directional punting, and you determined that, I guess, flipping the field was the key necessity there?
I think so. I mean, it was just one of those deals. You had to try to get as many yards as you possibly could, and that's what he did. He did exactly what we asked him to do, and I was proud of him. Obviously, we still need to shore up our coverage, and if you're going to kick the ball 65 yards, it's going to be easy to give up a 15-yard return. There was one return in there that I was disappointed with. We're still missing too many tackles and those type of things, but hopefully we get better this week because Detroit will create some problems for us.
Still have confidence in Simba even after he muffs the one there?
Yep. Yeah, I sure do. I mean, he can catch the ball. I've seen a lot more catches by him than I have Muffs. So, we got to get that corrected. That can't happen, and I have confidence he can get that done.
Curious, just to clarify statistically, the disparity between net and, his gross, that's not out kicking your coverage type of thing, or?
No, I mean, there is such a thing as out-kicking you can out-kick your coverage. But I asked them, let's flip the field, and we'll have to go down and we're going to cover. We still ended up winning the net punt, and that's what we want to do each and every week, and I thought he had a heck of a game.
What has Simba given you in that regard, though, to be able to do that with the way he's getting downfield?
Simba, I mean, both those guys, I think they're both growing at the outside spots. And, that was a game where they doubled us each and every time, so it is going to be harder. They're putting two people on one, so you're going to be a little stressed out there. And then when you knock the ball that far, you're going to be a little bit more stressed. But he's getting better. They all are, and we'll see if we see some improvement this week.
Chris, as you see what's going on offense out there, is there an increased sense of urgency to make a play on special teams? Is there more of a temptation to try something that you haven't shown as much of, just to see if that's where the turning point of the game can come?
Oh, I think that we're always, we always have to do something to try to affect the game in a positive manner, being aggressive but not reckless. And that philosophy still hasn't changed. And we always have something up each and every week. And if it presents itself, there's a lot of things that go into that: field position, down and distance, what's the score with timeouts, a lot of things that go into that formula. But if it's right, we'll pull the trigger.
Does it ever happen where Matt will come to you and say, "Have we got something," or is that something we?
Oh, sure. No, coach and I talk all the time about it. So we're always on the same page with it.
No, but I mean, is there ever a point in the game where one of you or both of you are thinking, this is where we need it, and you'll have a conference about that, and decide?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. No, we're always in constant communication.
You ever reaction to Justin Tucker's 66-yarder?
Really far. Far. Heck of a kick. Heck of a kick. Thanks.
The Agnew's return of that block on that field goal, is that something, because it seems like field goal units are not prepared necessarily for that. Is that something you guys ever have time to work on? Is that tape you show your guys?
Oh, yeah, no, that's something that's the end of half type deal. You want to put a returner. I mean, Devin's had a few of those here, and that was a great play by Agnew, and I think they went up by a touchdown there right there at halftime, so it worked out good for them. All right, thank you.
Discuss your team studies in the Midwest.
David, when Coach Laser and Matt Nagy talk about better practices, like that was the emphasis because they didn't feel like the practices maybe didn't go as well as they should have last week, and that's kind of what played into Sunday. What's an example of what needs to be better at practice so that Sunday doesn't happen?
Oh, there's a lot of examples. I mean, we just got to get better as a whole. I can't really pinpoint on exactly what we need to get better at practice, but that's more of a offense logistics as far as like how we need to handle it as individual players and being able to do it together as a whole offense and being on the same page as a whole offense as well. So that's definitely where we need to improve at, but we've been doing great for the start of the week. And I can guarantee you we're going to continue to do great throughout this rest of this week.
After a game like that, how confident are you that you all can return to a more consistent and, I guess, passable level of offense?
I'm always going to be confident, regardless of what the situation may be. We have 14 games left. I think a lot of times we forget that. So it's a lot of opportunities for us to go out and improve, a lot of opportunities for us to really showcase where we can be good once we put everything together. So I'm excited, and my confidence level is still high.
David, what did you learn about Justin, both in the moment on Sunday and then how he's responded this week?
Like I said, he's a very composed individual. He continues to show me how composed and calm he is under rapid and pressure situations. So, like I said, that's a rare thing to find in somebody so young. Even with this week, he's beyond like the naysayers or what everyone else is saying outside of the building. He's still composed. So that's the biggest thing you see out of him.
On Tuesday, when Matt asked for input from the players, without getting into too many specifics, did you offer one up? And what does that do for the room if it is collaborative like that?
Yeah, I did. It does a lot. It creates accountability and allow us to have a voice. And Coach Nagy, he allowed us to do that.
What did that make the players feel more like they're part of the deal? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Did you say run the ball every play? Was that yours?
What have you sense of the O-line this week and trying to kind of rebound from last Sunday? In terms of mindset, the demeanor, what have you kind of seen of the O-line so far this week?
Everybody going out and practicing, and them going out and practicing as well. You kind of go see what we did well and what we didn't do well, and whatever we didn't do well, we just try to, correct it. I mean, that's what the league is. Everyone makes mistakes. It's who makes the less amount of mistakes. So we go back and look at it. We just figure out what we need to fix, and they have had a very positive attitude, and they've been working their tails off this week so that we can be good this Sunday.
Going back to those conversations with Coach Nagy, what has his tone been like this week? Kind of what has his approach been to kind of trying to fix it?
Very positive. The leader, as we know him to be. So it's just really about, it's in our hands as an offense and as a team to stand behind him and be able to do this together, because like I said, we still have a lot of opportunities and a lot of games to prove what we are capable of. So we still stuck together like glue.
As far as responsibility goes, it seems like coach and all the coordinators say it starts with me, I have to coach better. There's a lot of responsibility being taken, but as far as accountability goes, what does that look like as far as passing down accountability?
As far as from the coaches or to the players?
From the coaches to the players, coaches holding players accountable.
It can't be on the coaches to hold the players accountable. It's got to be on the players to hold the players accountable. Because if you want to be as good as you want to be, it's got to be a player-driven team. And as much as the coaches can take accountability for what happened on Sunday, the coaches wasn't out there playing. It was on us as an offense, on us as a team to get the job done. The play don't make the player makes the play. So as much as it's accountability on their end, it's more of accountability on our end. So we got to do better as players.
Do you look at this week as a, do you look at how you guys will do on Sunday as a good measure of the fiber of your team?
Say it again?
Do you look at Sunday's game as a good measure of kind of what kind of guys you have in the room and what kind of team you have? Because, you know, going through a week like this so early in the season is unusual. Or going through a stressful week where after a performance like Sunday.
It definitely doesn't feel good to lose, but I know what kind of guys we got in the locker room, what kind of character that we all have in that locker room. So does this week help? Does it determine solely? No, but does it help? Yes, because I already know what kind of guys we got. I don't need this week to prove that I have an incredible group of guys in that locker room. So this game is definitely going to help in that direction, but it's not the end all be all. But we taking care of business this week. Like, that's what it's gonna be. We figure out what we didn't do well, we get back to the week and we attack it.
Thank you.
Thank you, David.